Padres Radio Network. Here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Today the Padres take on the Texas Rangers in the second game of a three-game series. Our starting pitching matchup today for the Rangers, right-hander John Gray, and for the Padres, right-hander Adam Mazur. Hi again, everyone. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. First pitch coming up at 5:05 p.m. at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, you'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. You'll also hear from now the National League Rookie of the Month for the month of June. That's Padres center fielder Jackson Merrill, and much, much more to come as well. But first, let's set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971 with 3 locations, La Mesa, Vista, and Oceanside. Padres entered today with a record of 46-43. Padres began this road trip with 2 lopsided wins against the Red Sox, but they've now lost 2 games in a row, 1 against the Sox and 1 against the Rangers. Padres have scored only 1 run combined in those 2 defeats. Meanwhile, the Rangers come in a record of 39-46. The defending World Series champions snapped a 6-game losing skid on Sunday with an 11-2 win against Baltimore, then a win last night against the Padres. Rangers are looking for their first series win against the Padres since September of 2018. Before last night, believe it or not, the Padres had won 11 in a row against the Rangers. Speaking of last night, let's take a quick look back.
How did the Padres fare in their last game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind. Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Let's begin in the bottom half of the first inning. Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres. There was a runner on base and 1 out for Nathaniel Lowe.
2-2 the pitch, and the changeup hit in the air to right field. Straight away and deep. Johnson is back. He's looking up. It's going to go. Home run. On the Ephus change, and Nathaniel Lowe made him pay for it. A 2-run shot in the bottom of the first inning.
In the bottom of the second inning, the Rangers struck again. There was a runner on second base for Leody Taveras. Taveras hit an RBI double to make it 3-zip. Rangers still led 3-0. Going to the bottom half of the third, Cease walked the leadoff man. Before, guess who? It was Nathaniel Lowe again.
Not running, and the 3-1 pitch hit in the air to straightaway left field and deep. Profar's going back, still going back. He's at the wall. This one gonna go. Second of the night for Nathaniel Lowe. Out to right field in the first inning, out to left here in the third, and a 5-0 Ranger lead.
Rangers led 5-0 going to the bottom half of the fourth inning. Cease allowed a leadoff double, then later an RBI single for Marcus Semien. It was 6-0. Cease would go just 3 2/3 innings, allow 6 runs on 8 hits. The other side of this game wasn't going a whole lot better. Nathan Eovaldi was terrific for the Rangers. 7 innings, no runs, 1 hit, no walks, 6 strikeouts. He faced just 1 batter over the minimum. Rangers went on to win it 7-0 as they took the series opener at home, and that sets things up for Game 2 of this 3-game series coming up at 5:05. Let's go to Arlington, Texas.
Let's go inside the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup from Jesse Agler in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Jesse, before we get to baseball, I have a couple of items for you. We had a terrific conversation when you guys were in Kansas City about the barbecue in KC, and I spent quite a bit of time in Texas. I was a big fan of the barbecue for the most part in the state of Texas. Have you indulged yourself in any Texas barbecue since you've been in Arlington?
Well, before I answer that, when you say for the most part, what was the Texas barbecue that you did not enjoy?
There were a few places, maybe one in Corpus, maybe one in Amarillo, but for the most part, I enjoyed it. There was actually a place in Fort Worth called Heim Barbecue where I think it was a burnt bacon ends, something like that, like burnt ends, but they were bacon. One of the best barbecue items I've ever had. So for the most part, I very much enjoyed it.
So the off day, I door dashed some barbecue for dinner because honestly, I didn't want to go anywhere.
Yeah, I got
and it's 110 degrees outside, and I was just kind of like feeling tired. So this is actually going to end up being a little bit of a funny story. So I got like some sausage and like at the Hot Links and some brisket. And you got to pick 2 sides, which was very exciting. So I got coleslaw and potato salad, and it came with a side of cornbread. So, I'm very hungry by the time it arrives, and I'm very excited to indulge in my barbecue. I didn't know the place or anything like that, but I just sort of, you scroll through and you find the one that looks like it kind of meets your needs. And so it gets there. I go down to the hotel lobby to pick it up. I bring it upstairs to my room. I've got the little table all set up. I had the Mets-Nationals game on the TV on MLB Network. I was like, it was James Wood's Major League debut. I was like, I'm going to really enjoy myself right now. I'm very, very excited. I open it all up. No silverware, no napkins. And so Jesse made a little bit of a mess to enjoy his dinner on Monday night.
Wait, but like the coleslaw, how'd you do that?
It didn't really happen.
Okay.
I at one point this is a horrible thing to admit. I was trying to use the pieces of brisket to eat the coleslaw.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it was it was firm enough to kind of like at least try it, but the coleslaw kept sliding off. I mean, it was if someone was in there, they would have been embarrassed to know me. Watching me attempt to eat this barbecue with my hands.
Was it good at least? Did you enjoy it?
It was fine.
Okay.
Like it wasn't good enough to be like worth all of that. That was the other thing. And door dashing, it's not the way to do it, right? Because it wasn't hot, and it all like it was one of these things. I was very geeked up for it. I was very excited, and I miscalculated the entire thing.
All right, let's talk a little baseball. Obviously, the Padres entering Sunday, going into Fenway Park, had been playing extraordinarily well. They had won 9 out of 10, Jesse, but then they lose Sunday. They have the day off on Monday. They lose yesterday. Look, for me, I said it a little bit last night in the postgame. 2 losses aren't a big deal in the course of a baseball season, but I guess with how they've played this year, the one thing maybe I worry about a little bit is 2 losses becomes another one of these skids we've seen. I guess settle me down a little bit. Is my concern level warranted, or were these just 2 games for this Padres ball club?
I mean, time will tell, right? Like ask me again in 3 days when we're back home facing the Diamondbacks, and we'll see how it's gone. But I think you have a reasonable thing you're bringing up, right? I mean, the reality is that's how this season has gone so far. Not to say it can't change at some point, and we did see a change with that, winning 5 out of 6 that they had. But the reality is every time they've had really kind of any kind of skid, it's been followed by a nice little streak and vice versa. The Rangers, very similar, by the way, kind of the way they're going right now, although they're much further below 500 than, the Padres have been really at any point lately. But, that is just kind of the way the 2024 Padres have gone. Now, the good news is that on this last run, when it was, at its peak, right, 9 out of 10, I think, in the win column, they built a cushion. And that's the importance of going on a run like that. That's the kind of thing we never really saw last year's team able to do until the very end when, I don't want to say it didn't matter anymore, but it really didn't matter anymore. And so when they do run off 9 out of 10 against Milwaukee and Washington and Boston, then it sort of cushions you, right, when, you lose a couple of games as they now have. And hopefully they can pull out of this one before they lose 9 out of 10 and kind of cancel the whole thing out.
Right.
You want to have the bigger peaks and the smaller valleys, and we'll see how it goes here, as we said, in the next couple of days.
Jesse, quickly, let's just touch on Adam Mazur on the mound for the Padres here tonight. Really found his way through that last outing against the Nationals. Emotions were high during that outing as that was the Profar game with the Grand Slam and all that went on against the Nationals. Your thoughts on what Mazur showed his last time out, because he gave up 4 runs, but they all came in 1 inning, and he sort of figured it out a little bit as it went along.
There's no doubt. It felt like a step forward for him, and as you said, kind of in the craziness of that game, no one's going to remember that as the night Adam Mazur got his first Major League win, unless their last name is Mazur. That's just the silliness of that night and how it kind of spiraled away. But for him to be kind of in the middle of a lot of that, couldn't have been easy for a guy who's literally just getting his feet wet in the major leagues. But look, he didn't walk anybody the first time through. That was the first time he had done that in any of his major league starts. As you said, all 4 runs that he allowed came in the 3rd inning. One of the other things that I remember is that the Nationals were extraordinarily aggressive against him. A lot of early swings, and that kept the pitch count down, which sort of allowed him to be at a very reasonable number by the time he got out there. Padre offense obviously backed him up in a really big way. Machado had that home run in the 1st inning, and it was what it was. So they were able to make it work for him. He definitely, to me, appeared to be a guy who had taken a step forward, but as we always remind ourselves, it shoots and ladders out there. And just because he took a step forward last Tuesday against the Nationals doesn't mean it's only going to be steps forward from here on out. And we'll see how it goes here tonight against a Ranger team that is all of a sudden, I guess, remembered how to hit. What they did on Sunday night in Baltimore, what they did yesterday, and then on top of all of that, they're going to get Corey Seager back in there tonight as well. So it'll be a pretty real test, obviously, for him here tonight.
Yeah, really good point. Rangers all of a sudden swinging the bat a lot better. We'll have more on Corey Seager coming up a little bit later in our pregame coverage. Jesse, as always, appreciate the time. We'll talk to you and Tony coming up at 4:55 here in San Diego. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Sam.
All right, that is Jesse Agler joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show as we get ready for today's game on the Padres radio network. Again, first pitch coming up at 5:05. We go out to Jesse and Tony at 4:55. We've got a lot to do on our pregame coverage. When we come back, we'll hear from Padre manager Mike Shildt, and they are in the process right now as we speak of announcing the National League All-Star starters, so we are keeping a very, very close eye on that. So stay tuned. We'll let you know who got in for the Padres. Certainly a couple of guys that could start the All-Star game. So stay tuned for that. We'll relay that information to you as we go along here on our pregame coverage. When we come back, we hear from Padre manager Mike Shildt. Plus, we hear from center fielder Jackson Merrill coming up a little bit later as well. First pitch at 5:05 p.m. on the Padres radio network. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Your water perfected. EcoWater SoCal. Your water should be perfect. Find them online at EcoWaterSoCal.com. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 5:05 in Arlington, Texas. We'll hear from Padre manager Mike Shildt coming up in just a little bit. We'll also hear from today's center fielder and the now reigning National League Rookie of the Month. That is Jackson Merrill. We'll hear from him in a little bit as well. They are announcing the all-star starters right now on ESPN, and we are keeping a very close eye on it as they go around the diamond. Here's what we can tell you officially right now. Luis Arraez did not win his battle with Ketel Marte for the starting spot at second base. So Marte has been named the all-star starter at second base. He received 55% of the vote, and Arraez received 45%. We also just got the result on ESPN. Alec Bohm against Manny Machado for the starting third baseman spot, and Bohm beat Machado in that spot. So neither Arraez nor Manny will be starters. That does not mean they will not be all-stars, but they won't be all-star starters for the National League, and we're still waiting on the rest of the results. And certainly when you talk about Profar and Tatis, two guys that very well may end up being all-star starters in the National League. So we'll relay this info for you as we see it. We've got it on here in the studio on ESPN. So once we see that come through, we'll be sure to relay it to you, the breaking news on the National League All-Star team here in 2024. Let's hear from Padre manager Mike Shildt.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Presented by Sinley Food. Spice up your culinary life.
Like we said, Jackson Merrill, it was announced earlier today, winning National League Rookie of the Month. And in fact, Rangers outfielder Wyatt Langford was named the American League Rookie of the Month. So the next couple of days, a matchup between the NL and AL Rookies of the Month in this series. Merrill became the first Padres rookie to win a monthly award since Jake Cronenworth won for July and August in 2020. Overall, it's the eighth honor for a Padres rookie, Merrill becoming the seventh different Padre to win Rookie of the Month. Padres center fielder Jackson Merrill hit .329 home runs, 20 RBIs, 7 doubles, 3 walks, 17 runs scored, 2 stolen bases, a .650 slugging percentage, and a .346 on-base percentage in 28 games. Last month, he led qualified rookies in average, home runs, slugging, OPS, hits, doubles, extra base hits, total bases. It was quite the month for Jackson Merrill, and we saw a power surge, and he continued to just have a stellar rookie campaign. Here was Padre manager Mike Shildt on Merrill winning this award.
Well deserved. I mean, he clearly earned it. Probably could have made a case for, player of the month, quite candidly, with the numbers he put up. But well deserving. Good to see him get the recognition he deserves.
He's a guy that doesn't like to talk about himself, and it was so consistent with him today saying that I don't worry about these awards, it's all about the team. I mean, that's the authentic Jackson Merrill, is it not? I mean, that's part of the reason why he's been able to accomplish what he has.
Yeah, I think it's a big part of who he is. Very humble. Authentic's a tremendous word related to Jackson. He really is sincere. I mean, nobody really says, hey, I just wanted to be about me. I don't want to win. I mean, no one's really going to say that. But this guy is really sincere about team performance over his performance. We win, he's happy, he gets his knocks, great, but he wants the club to do well and he wants to contribute, which he clearly is.
Every year we see rookies come out of spring training and everyone has high expectations for him, and sometimes it doesn't pan out. For him it has. Is there any one thing about his character or personality or work ethic that you think has separated him and allowed him to do what he's done so far?
Well, he's got the skills clearly to play at this level, and now he's got the right approach, the right work ethic, and then he just, when things get a little challenging, because this game is very challenging, whether you're hitting balls at people or, whatever the case may be, he's just got this wonderful ability to regroup and stay within himself and get back to a approach that is clear about who he is as a player and then able to execute it. So it's maturity beyond his years.
That was Padre manager Mike Shildt before today's game, talking about Jackson Merrill winning NL Rookie of the Month. Let's talk about another rookie on the mound for the Padres today, right-hander Adam Mazur. 5 innings, 4 runs given up, 6 hits allowed. He walked 1, struck out nobody against the Nationals last week. All 4 runs came in 1 inning against Mazur. Here was Mike Shildt earlier today on what he liked about Mazur's last start.
I like the confidence, like the body language, but more important, like the command, like going at guys. I thought the pitches were in the zone and controlled counts, and I thought he threw the ball very well.
Finally, looking at the rotation for the Padres tomorrow, how it continues. Right-hander Michael King on the mound for the Padres. And you may remember Randy Vasquez started the first game of this road